guys! So today's video is going to be about self-confidence, so here we go. Well, first of all, self-confidence I think comes from the relationship you have with yourself. And every relationship, we know that, is not always the same. Every relationship is affected, influenced by, different circumstances, the people around you, or the people you're in a relationship with, or your mood, or what life throws at you basically. And relationship, they vary. Sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's not so good, sometimes it fades away, sometimes it goes stronger and higher and more powerful and more brilliant and intense and amazing. Sometimes it's just really hard to create a good relationship. Sometimes you have to work really hard, sometimes it comes naturally. It can fluctuate really easily, really quickly. Just like you would with your friends or your boyfriend or girlfriend or your mom and dad or your coworkers, you have to work on yourself and you have to work on this relationship with yourself to make it work, to make it good, to make it nice and enjoyable, and that will make you have self-confidence, really. I've already said that too in one of my blog posts, but you have to see yourself like a friend. You have to realize that you are an individual that you don't know yet completely. Just like the good, very old friend you've had from, primary school or kindergarten. You think you know them completely, but in fact, you know very well there are some parts of them which are hidden from you or which you don't know, you don't see very accurately. It's the same for yourself. You think you know yourself perfectly, but you don't know really how you would react to something. And sometimes we're so surprised by our reaction and we're like, oh my god, why did I do that? I never thought I would behave that way. Or sometimes we just change, we evolve, obviously, or unfortunately we do. We don't know ourselves completely. Basically, you have to treat yourself like you would treat a friend, And once you realize that, some things become really easier. Lots of people actually ask me how I am so self-confident, which is so far away from reality. How am I so confident in my beliefs and my values and myself? It is true, I've always been so confident, so sure, so eager to fight for what I believe in. It is a strength that has always been inside of me, that is true. However, the self-confidence is not something I do really have. But I've worked on myself, I've worked with myself in order to get that self-confidence, or at least to behave like I am self-confident. Sometimes, it's really important to be true. Sometimes pretending is fine as well. What really helped me was to pretend, basically, that I was self-confident. Even if you are shy, even if you're really not confident, even if you're insecure, just behave. Pretend you're self-confident. Pretend you're not afraid of people, you're not afraid of anything, and people will believe that lie. It will make you behave like a confident person. It will force you to do things you would not do ordinarily. It will force you to go beyond your limits, what you think are your limits, because we have no limit. As human beings, we're constantly creating ourselves, constantly defining what we can and what we can't do. We are creating our future, our will, our desires, our capacities, everything is a choice of us. Sometimes you don't realize it, sometimes it's hard. Obviously, sometimes there are things you can't overcome alone or that take a lot of time. But in the end, you can change everything with your will, because God created us, God or nature, whatever, created us with a will, that is so powerful, so big, that we can make anything if we want to. I was a really, really, really sad child and a sad teenager. I was only sad, I didn't really know what joy was. I didn't know what being happy meant. I didn't know what feeling good meant, how to accept yourself, how to sometimes look at yourself and think, oh, that's nice, I don't look too bad today. I was feeling I was too big, I disliked my hair, I disliked my features, I disliked my nose, my boobs that were huge. I felt like I was uninteresting, I was not funny enough, I was not smart enough, I wasn't really anything, to be completely honest. It was like that. It was really, I didn't like who I was, I didn't like it. There was a change, a sudden change, when I discovered, things I liked. I mean, you just live once, really. It sounds really cliche, but it's true. You're not gonna have a second try. If you don't do something you want to do now in this life, you will never know what it feels like, what it tastes like. That it would be such a shame not to do it because you're afraid, or because you feel you're not worth it, or because you feel like you don't deserve to try it, or because you're afraid of what people will think. You know what? People don't really think anything, and even if they do, we don't care. And that's where the whole idea of being in a relationship with yourself comes from. I realized that I didn't want to be someone that would please people. I wanted to be someone who would please myself. I didn't want to become someone other people would think interesting, other people would think nice. I wanted to be someone I personally would be proud of, happy about, and that changed my whole point of view, you know. Obviously, I was still feeling insecure somehow. I was still, oh my god. But I pretended really well that I didn't care. I think it's much more important not to disappoint yourself than to focus on not disappointing other people. In the end, you're gonna die with yourself, I mean, you're not gonna go, no one's gonna share your regrets, no one's gonna share what you are, sad about, or what you think you've done wrong. No one's gonna take away that pain. You're gonna be alone in a grave and you're gonna deal with that yourself. So in the end, what really matters is yourself. Pretending that you are strong is the first thing I would really suggest to you, because you will have to behave like you don't care what people think, and you will realize it's not that bad. Actually, very few people will come to you to be, talk shit about you or to be mean. It can be really, infuriating, and it can be really upsetting to see that people don't even know when they should close their mouth, but in the end didn't change anything, and I would feel much, more, I would say, upset and sad at the end of the day if I didn't try wearing that dress, or if I didn't try this new activity, or if I didn't say what I thought was right or wrong in this class, or in this group of friends, or in this discussion, wherever and whoever it could be with. Then I would feel sad if someone comes to me and just say a stupid comment. When you're not self-confident, when you don't do things you want to do, when you're not letting yourself live the life you really want to live, you're very sad, right? You feel rubbish, you feel worthless, and do people really like you any better? No. So, if you're in a situation that is not good for you, you just have nothing to lose in trying to do something new, or trying to have a new way to see things, or a new way to behave. And really, people are not that mean. However, that's what I really want to say. We always think people are so mean, and we always focus on the haters, on the bullies, or people who are gonna be, judgmental and just annoying. But there's so many nice people out there, so many nice, kind, sweet, interesting, funny, open-minded people out there, really. You would not believe it. And even if it's about, what you think, like, for example, I'm a vegetarian, and I know sometimes it might be hard to express your opinions, because you're going to be judged on that, and you're afraid what people will think. But you know what? It's much more important for me to be true to who I am and what I believe in. For me, animals' rights and respecting nature and other living beings is much more important than what these meat eaters are gonna think. And I know some of you are gonna say that it's very bad what I'm saying, but I don't care. You know that I think eating meat is bad anyway. You will find people who share your opinion, or who are interested in you, or the same thing as you're interested in, or just open-minded and like exchanging with people. So don't always assume that people are gonna be mean to you, because there are actually really nice people out there. So I would say, to get self-confidence, there are 3 really important tips. First one would be, think of yourself as another person you want to be proud of, you want to be friend with, you would want to be friend with. Be someone you would like. Then pretend. When you can't really find the strength to do something, when it's not naturally coming to you, just pretend it comes naturally. You just pretend you don't care and pretend it's really easy. Because it will appear easy, people will think it's easy for you, you will have done it at the end of the day, and you will feel proud and good about yourself. And next time, this won't be something you'll be afraid of. Third tip would be just trust people. Trust yourself. You have the ability to be and to do whatever you want to do and to be. And also trust people because they are nice and they are sweet. And if you are just living your life the way you want to live it, you will also inspire the people. I just believe really that not only is it right for people to live like they want to live and to be who they really want to be, but it's also a duty we have, no matter no matter how hard life can be, and no matter how harsh and judgmental and mean people can be. It's a duty we have to not let them win. That we have to make people understand that we are all worth something, we're all beautiful, and we just deserve, all of us, respect and love, no matter what we believe in, no matter what we want to do, no matter what we like, dislike, no matter what we look like. You have to get self-confidence in order to inspire people. And it's also right, you have to give yourself self-confidence because you are someone precious. You have to love yourself, treat yourself good, and you would never like to see a friend, in a bad position. You wouldn't like to see a friend being always sad and not being able to express himself or herself completely, right? You would encourage them to be themselves. Well, just do the same for you, really.